Hi, I'm Leonora. Welcome to Soul Searching Tarot. I am doing a video today about birth charts, part 2. I did do one before. I think you should really look at it before you even start to look at part 2. It's up to you. I wanted to go a little bit more into detail about your birth chart. And I always try to leave the link on how to obtain your birth chart. I will do it in the description box along with my email. If you need a private reading, I'm available. Catch me now while I'm free. All right, so I'm sorry, I'm going to be looking down a lot because there's so much information. Astrologers have given us a breakdown of the zodiac signs that are in the constellation up in the universe, solar system, whatever you want to call it. And these are mathematicians, these are historians, and so I have so much respect for them because these people really, I mean, this community, they let us know how to understand ourselves, how to better understand the planet, how to know the difference between if you're more of a Leo or more of a Cancer. And so they do a geometric circle around this type of understanding when it comes to what sign you resonate with more. And so, quick example, I am a Scorpio. I could say I'm a Scorpio because my birthday is actually 2 days before Sagittarius begins, right? Some people would say I'm on a cusp because I have the characteristic traits of both Scorpio and Sagittarius. Now, if you ask an astrologer, they will tell you straight up, you're like a Sagittarius. You're more like a Sagittarius. There's no doubt about it because of where the degree falls on. And that's what I wanted to talk about is the degrees. Because even though when you look at your birth chart, you're going to look at this number next to it, 28 degrees, 15 degrees, you're gonna be like, what the heck does that mean? And I'll explain to you what that means. But first, I wanted to tell you, when you do link on the birth chart, try to know your date of birth with the year where you were born before we even go there. Time is important, and I'll tell you why in a little bit, but if you don't know the time, that's okay. Just hit unknown time. You'll still get your birth chart. The time will just give you your ascending sign, okay? All right, don't laugh at my little drawing, okay? So this is the geometric circle that I was talking about. It looks much better than my circle sucks, but they do a much better job than this. And I don't know if you are into astrology or not, but you will see a picture of a geometric circle, 360 degrees we see here, right? Now, each sign has 30 degrees, which adds up to 360 degrees. This is 12 times 30, 360. 12 zodiacs, 12 houses, okay? All right. I know you can't really see it too much here, and I don't even want you to see my disgusting, like, image of a chart. But, okay, we'll move on. All right, so let's say right here, this is Aries. After Aries is Taurus. After Taurus is Gemini. These three signs is 1 pi, right? These are the babies of the zodiac: Aries, Taurus, Gemini. But they're broken down in 30 degrees, 1 through 29. I should say 0, because that line represents actually 0. So 0 through 29. But, you know, it does go up to 30. I'm not going to go into like 30, it's actually 0. But again, confusion. So 0 through 29, and 30, but 30 represents, it's equal to 0, okay? My Scorpio sun rising is, what is my Scorpio sun rising? It's 29 degrees. So what does that make me? More of a Scorpio or more of a Sagittarius, right? So that's where you may be confused, and you may hear the word cusp. Oh, you're on the cusp, meaning you're 2 signs. The lower the degree, the higher of that characteristic trait you have of that zodiac sign. So because my Scorpio sun sign is at 29 degrees, I'm literally about to hit 0 in the Sagittarius chart. So does that make me more of a Scorpio or a Sagittarius? Well, it makes me more of a Sagittarius. I am on a cusp, and I may have characteristics of both signs. Yes, that is true. I may have characteristics of both signs, but more of the other, which in this case, Sagittarius. And I'll go back to my picture. Okay. So if you, let's say this is Cancer. I split Cancer into half, 15 degrees. I don't know if you could see that number. So, right, if you break 30 degrees into 2, it's 15. 1 or 0 through 15, I should say, 0 through 15 is like the characteristic of that sign. That is the true characteristic of that sign. That is like, there is no doubt about it, use a Cancer. Now, when it starts to go higher, like 16, 17, 18, 19, well, now you're overlapping. You're overlapping into Leo. So those July babies, those late July babies that have a birthday either July 23rd, I think that's when Leo starts. But let's say July 20th, July 21, July 22, you're going into like the late degrees of the Cancer sign, right? So going into the late degrees of Cancer will bring you more into Leo, right? The higher the number, the higher you're going to be in the other sign. But yes, you are on the cusp. That's what the cusp means. Cusp babies, you know, you'll hear that a lot. It's because they're in between 2 signs. Even though their sun sign may represent, you know, for example, with me, 29 degrees, Scorpio means more. I'm a Sagittarius because I'm about to hit 0. The next degree is basically 0, which is 30 degrees, okay? It does go up to 30, but astrologers don't even say 30. They just start at 0. Hope I didn't confuse you. I don't want to confuse anybody, but if you want to learn, I'm here to teach. Funny thing, I'm digressing, sorry. I just had a really nice long conversation with someone who has a sun in Aries, his moon is in Pisces, and his ascending is in Leo. We had this really long conversation, but he did hit a very interesting point. He said, what audience are you catering to? Like, what is your audience? What is the demographic that you're trying to speak to? Um, and I said, good motherfucking question. I never said that to myself. I just said, this is the type of show I want to do, and this is the platform, and that was it. I never asked myself, who am I going to cater to? Am I going to cater to people who just want to learn about their next love endeavor, who broke up with them, who's going to love them next, because I do read tarot, and I read tarot according to the placements in your chart, or what's going on in the universe as far as transit and retrograding, because the planets are the houses, right? Jupiter is Sagittarius, the moon is Cancer, the sun is Leo. These are all affecting us as a zodiac sign. So if you're interested in zodiac sign, you have to be interested in the cosmos up there, right? Because that's what they represent. They are the elements, the energy, the drive, the complexity, the mental, the emotional state of that sign, that particular sign. So I said to myself, well, Leonore, who the fuck are you catering to? And why? And so I told him that my show I want it to be more educational when it comes to astrology, for those who are just, dipping their little toe in the water and wanting to know more about astrology, and maybe bought that astrology book and just went like on page 2, but just left the book and was like, too confusing, too complex. Tell me more about my sun sign. That's who I was. I've been trying to study astrology since I was a teenager. I was always interested in it, but I never went past page 2 in the astrology book. I was like this. Okay, well, I just want to know if I'm compatible with so-and-so. But yes, I mean, you could know from more or less, if you're like a Scorpio like me, who's a Sag cusp, I could be compatible with a water sign or a fire sign, because I'm on the cusp. I represent both elements, both water and fire. And so that's the way it works. I mean, if that helps in any way, I hope that you're getting some type of education when it comes to learning to read your birth chart, because that's what I want you to know. I always say that is your journey in life, who you are, why you are like this, how do you see the world, how the world sees you. And then I do my little tarot card reading, That's the entertainment part of it. But I've never seen someone, and if they are, there are very little people that do read tarot. I do know one astrologer. I go to the Leo King a lot. I love him, David Palmer. Fernando Pernome, I could be saying his name wrong, love him too. Great astrologer. There is also a couple of other ones that I can't think from the top of my head, but I love listening to them. They know their shit, and so when I come to you with this information, I'm giving it to you in like little spoonfuls. Like, it's a little, here baby, there's this little spoon. Like, I don't really give you this vast of information because you could get lost easily, okay? And so that's basically who I'm catering to, okay? Those who want to learn a little bit more about astrology, and those who love hearing about tarot card reading and how the energy of planets will affect them, or stars, or asteroids, or moons, okay? Does that make sense? All right, back to astrology. All right, so you'll see in the birth chart the sun the moon, Mercury, Venus, Saturn, Uranus, Neptune, Pluto, Jupiter. These planets all mean different things. They share zodiac signs. Some of them have more than one zodiac sign. For example, Mercury is ruled, rewind. Gemini and Virgo, they're ruled by Mercury, the planet Mercury. Who else shares a planet? Taurus and Libra, they share Venus. Pluto is the planet for Scorpio, but Mars also co-rules Scorpio. So Scorpio has a lot of Pluto elements as well as Mars. Okay. So anyway, let's see. Lilith. You're gonna see a Lilith on the chart, and you're gonna be like, "What the fuck is Lilith?" If I'm cursing too much, tell me in the comments. It's okay. Honestly, this is where I really am. My Mercury is in Scorpio. Damn it. I do try to control it as much as possible. I do. I really do. You know I have if you've seen my videos. Lilith is a black moon. Who is Lilith? Lilith was mentioned in the Bible. Wasn't she for like a little smidget part of it? But Lilith is Adam's first wife before Eve. Yeah, Adam had a first wife. Her name was Lilith. She was also taken by the devil. Lucifer came and took her and said, "You know what? Come with me." And she went. So Lilith is the black moon. Now, it's just a black moon, okay? I'm not talking about Lilith, the Bible character. There is a black moon called Lilith, okay? Guess what she represents? She represents the dark, deep nature that we repress. Now, Adam was always trying to repress her. Going back to the character. She was not able to be herself, this independent woman, you know, this sexual, powerful being. Adam didn't like that. But you know, and I don't care if I get heat for this because I really don't. But, you know, when Lucifer came to her and said, you know, you could be who you want with me, she left. And so did Eve, come to think about it. But Eve was a different type of woman, right? She was more subservient to Adam. As far as I know, there is no moon or planet named after Eve. But it does rule romance, or lack thereof romance, love affairs, passion. All right, so you'll also see an ascending sign. Ascending sign, what does that mean? I don't know if I'm repeating myself, but when you put the time, the correct time that you were born, or something close to within an hour that you were, the hour that you were born, you will see your ascending sign. And what is your ascending sign? It is the sign, for example, my ascending sign is Pisces. I see the world, it is my perspective of the world. I see it as a Piscean. I see the world as a Piscean. Not all the time, sometimes. It goes in and out. It's like an in and out type of energy. And so knowing your ascending sign is just as important as your sun sign, because you kind of switch over your sun sign and your ascending sign. It's like there's parts of the day where you switch over into a Pisces, and then there's parts of the day where I'm like a Scorpio, and then because I'm a cusper, I'm a Sag. No wonder I'm all over the place. Okay. So I hope that made sense a little bit. There's so much more that I want to go into. But the retrograde, I wanted to go into retrograde. You'll see the letter R in some of the planets, It could be one, it could be two, it could be more than two. The R on that chart, and the chart that I'm talking about, the birth chart, if you have not gone on to the link that where you want to find out your birth chart, there is a picture of it that I have in the beginning of the video that represents that looks like a birth chart, and you'll see like the letter R. R stands for retrograde. For your entire life, that planet in whatever house it is will be in retrograde. So for example, the only planet that I have in retrograde is Saturn. Guess what's in retrograde right now? Saturn. And so, but you know what? My entire life, Saturn has been in retrograde, and it's in the house of Cancer, the 4th house, the nurturing side, the nurturing sign, the mother of the zodiac, the intense feeling of the zodiac. And so, because it's in retrograde, it's not going to be the Cancer that you know of. It's going to be like the shadow side of the sign Cancer. And so for my entire life, I'm always going to feel like unloved, unsupported. I myself may sabotage my own relationships with people, mostly lovers, because of the attitude that I have, this self-doubt attitude of like not feeling loved, or they're gonna always run away. And it has nothing to do with my self-esteem. It's because my Saturn is in retrograde, and it's in the 4th house, which is all about love and relationships. And so I'm fucked. But I've had great relationships. It doesn't matter. It's okay. I've had great. Don't feel sorry for me. I've had really great relationships, and I've learned lessons in life. But I'm always going to have hurdles and obstacles, and I don't know. I guess I will always have the feeling that I will never receive the love that I deserve. Yeah, and even as a child, I did feel that way. And I was put through that situation. Does it mean that I wasn't loved by these people? Not at all. I was loved and supported by these people. But because I was born when Saturn was in retrograde in the 4th house of Cancer, I feel the opposite. I feel like I'm not loved. But that's just a little bit of the aspect about it. There's so much more to it, I'm just giving you, like, if you see retrograde, you'll see the shadow side. And sometimes that shadow side is, depending on the planet, may be good.